onto the blood vessels, the location and the anatomy of them. We've got 5 major blood vessels around the body. They come from the heart. So inferior vena cava takes blood from the lower body, hence it being inferior, and then your superior, and these carry deoxygenated blood, which are full of CO2. So the blood's point here is to try and get blood to the lungs to get rid of this CO2. You've got your pulmonary artery, that also carries CO2 from the heart in order to get oxygen, and then your pulmonary vein, which makes its way back to the heart full of oxygen. And lastly, the aorta, which is oxygen rich to send blood to the body. Inside the body, we've got a number of different vessels. So arteries come from the heart and go away from the heart. So they've got thick muscular walls and hence can hold quite a large amount of blood pressure in there, which they've got a very small pathway, so it forces the blood quite quickly and quite fast, so it can hold the blood under high pressure. These then branch off into smaller arteries, still with a muscular wall, known as arterioles. And arterioles use this muscular wall to be able to regulate blood. So they will tighten or open in order to distribute the blood to the muscles that are needed. Hence, if you are a runner, you don't really use your arm muscles as much, and therefore a lot of the blood is going to be going down to the legs, similar with cycling. So the arterioles will work in a way to meet the demands of which muscles need the blood. From there, once we get into the muscles, the capillaries then take over and have an important job. And these are found in the muscles and the lungs, very thin, and fit one cell through it. They work under low blood pressure, and what this allows is gas exchange to take place. So whether it's the unloading of CO2 or oxygen, that can move between these walls. So as we can see here, artery full of oxygen, arterioles, then moves single cells through, offloads the oxygen, picks up the CO2, and will then move on through a venule into the vein. Look at the difference. Your veins, we've got valves in there, all right, and your arteries, thick muscular section, very thin inner lumen, as it's known, the gap in between, and then into your capillaries, which are very small, works under low pressure. Onto your venules. These will regulate deoxygenated blood back to veins. It'll try and get to the largest vein as soon as it can. Now, the concept of taking blood to the heart is known as venous return. The quicker we can get blood back to the heart, the quicker we can get oxygen to it. So it's quite important that this blood is transported as quickly as it can. And that's helped by muscles that can contract and squeeze. So doing a cool down after sport is quite important because you are helping venous return. Now, veins have very thin walls, a large diameter in the middle, so they can hold quite a lot of blood, but it's under low pressure. So this low pressure can cause problems, which is why we've got valves. Because we're working against gravity, the valves prevent backflow. So it helps get this blood back to the heart. So as you can see, artery, thick walls, narrow centre, veins, thin walls, really wide gap to transport that blood through. And then your capillaries are very thin, just to allow one cell. So these are some of the characteristics of them. I'll allow you to pause and play as you see fit there. The importance really is to know which veins or which vessels carry oxygenated and deoxygenated and where they're going. You know, are they going to the heart or the lungs? Are they going to a muscle and what have you?